Happy Festivus! Welcome in, everybody. Happy Thursday. Chris Meany here. Another edition of Mean Streets powered by FTN right here on Game Plus Network. If you're watching live on our FTN YouTube page, smash that like button. You have any comments, any questions, leave them there in the YouTube section. See people are hanging out with us live. I absolutely love it. If you're watching on Game Plus, to see a heck of a lineup here today. The footballers, Pat Mayo experience. It's all happening on Game Plus Network. A little bit later on, Game Plan with Emery Hunt. That's a phenomenal show, too. Check that out, Game Plus. That is before the Thursday night football game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Tennessee Titans. We have the Niners now 3-point favorites, a total at 44.5. If you're using our free prop shop and parlay calculator, you can get the best possible odds. Props, sides, totals, whatever it is. I am seeing minus 158 for the 49ers and plus 139 rather for the Titans, with the total at 44.5. We have a lot to get to on this show, despite there being zero action in the NHL. And yes, I am still rocking the Santa hat because 'tis the season. You know, like I said, today is actually Festivus, right? Festivus for the rest of us. Let's go. A lot, as I mentioned, to get to. Tino's going to drop by. We got some NBA stuff. We got some NBA props. I think there's, 11 games in the association here today. So just one as of right now, postponed. And, of course, we have the Thursday night football game. And every Thursday, like we do on this show, we bring in Jill Gallant, a.k.a. G-Dog5000, a.k.a. G-Dub, hanging out in the Discord. Or hanging out in the YouTube section here. Dude, I can't keep up with the comments here. This is fantastic. I love it. We want everybody to check out everything that we have to offer over at our FTN YouTube page. I got some Week 16 picks. I got some props for tonight. Jill's got some touchdown calls. We got some NBA three-point props. We got a lot of stuff to get to on this show because we won't be here tomorrow. We won't. I'm a little fired up today. I had a cold shower today. I don't know, hot water. It's brutal. Not great timing, to be honest. I mentioned Festivus. And I think of Kramer when he had the cold shower, and George when he said he had the shower and it didn't take, and George, and of course Kramer's just crazy. He takes cold showers. It's like giddy up, ready to go. We are ready to go on this show. Mark, I see you. I feel you. Perfect yesterday. 2 for 2, I think. 4 for 4 overall. Yeah, we got some winners here. We will give some winners. Tino, let's bring up the giveaway board as we do here at the top of the show over the past couple. We want to hear from you again today. We want your best possible pick. I think maybe 5 or 6 winners. We got GZ. GZ is on here. George getting it done yesterday. Big W from you as well. And also not just over 1.5 old fashioned. Dude, you got a pick right as well. So props to you, my friend. But we are looking for your best pick of the night. It doesn't matter the odds, the spread, none of it matters. Your best pick. It could be a side, it could be a total. You can tease if you want a game down. You could give us a prop. You can give us 2. I think some people are giving us 2. We got a lot of sharp people here watching Mean Streets. I love it. You guys are super sharp. You're giving really good picks. I think we may have about 30 entries so far. We will have a draw early next week on Tuesday. And the winner will get an FTN Betting Package. And it's not just football picks. It's all the picks across all the sports that we offer over at FTN, and we offer them all. Props, picks, sides, totals, teasers. We keep track of everything over at FTNBets.com. You will also get tools, player prop tools, projections. You will get Discord channels for every single sport that we cover over at FTN. I think our guy, Crutry, I got to double check, but I think he won like 1,000 units last night in college basketball. Obviously, I'm joking just a little bit, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, I retweeted it last night. I haven't taken a good look at what he did. We got to get him on the show. When football starts to die down, we will start to talk a lot of college sports. You know, I can hang and talk some college sports, but I'm not as sharp as Kuchar. Look at this guy last night. So, yeah, 4 for 5. I'm seeing 4 for 5 on, like, some sides and totals, and then maybe 9 for 10 on props. Like, this guy's an absolute stud. So, you get all of the NFL picks. You get the NHL picks. You get the college sports picks, you get esports picks, absolutely everything with that betting package. A lot of news is filtering through here, and as I mentioned, we won't be here tomorrow, so if you have any starter sit questions, we can address them here on this show. We can talk about that. I did find some props to give you guys, but mostly from PrizePicks, and some of the props I'm going to talk about for tonight's football game, there's a massive edge. I've been talking about this a lot. Like, for example, I think FanDuel has George Kittle at 72.5 yards. He's like mid-60s over at PrizePicks. There's a few examples that I want to give you guys, and there really is an edge. Deontay Foreman is another guy who's hovering around 50 rushing yards. He's like low 40s over at PrizePicks. So there is a pretty significant edge over at PrizePicks. We have a free PrizePicks tracker over at FTN@daily.com. You click the tab up at the top, two tabs up at the top that you want to get in. The chat one gets you in our free PrizePicks Discord channel. We're giving plays all the time, having a great conversation. You can mix and match across all the sports that you love. PrizePicks offers them all. It's a simple over or under at a player's prop or their fantasy score. And then we have that free DFS pick tracker where we're giving picks, jock market picks, underdog picks, and as well as prize picks and other picks as well, free to check out. So no excuses not to check that out. And like I've been saying, there's a big edge in prize picks, and Jeff Ratcliffe has the prize picks edge tool as well to find those edges. And I found a few here this morning. There's a couple other things I wanted to get to off the top. One, our baseball draft kit is live here today. I know what you're thinking. Baseball, I don't even want to hear it. Strike, I don't even want to hear that nonsense. It's coming back. We got you set up. Man, Vlad Sedler is an absolute stud in the industry. He is such a sharp baseball mind. He put together, and George knows, because he helped put this together as well. 130-page draft guide. Yes, it is absolutely live. A lot of sharp minds across the board. Matty Wood, other people outside of the industry taking part in this. Brock Monster taking part in this, and I have some stuff in it as well, just new places or old faces in new places, just taking a look at some of the guys, some of the player movements. And there's still a lot of big-time players that haven't signed with teams. Carlos Correa, Freddie Freeman, Trevor Story, these guys come to mind. We will update the draft kit when those things happen. But right now we have an early bird special, $19.99 for the MLB draft kit. That's just a few bucks off. You got MLB season-long fantasy. Vlad's going to take care of you throughout the season. I'm going to have some podcasts, some shows with Matty Wood. We are going to have a lot of baseball coverage for you, led by Vlad Sedler. So $39.99 for the season-long contest. Of course, he has his articles, and these guys are high-stakes studs too, right? So he's going to have a lot of great information for you. And then overall, the MLB High Sticks package, $99.99. You're going to save yourself $20. You're going to save yourself a lot of bucks if you get in on this today. So I tweeted it out, ftnfantasy.com/pricing, the FTN MLB draft kit. And there's, like I said, a lot of sharp minds outside of FTN that we have in here as well. There was also one more thing I wanted to get to. We kind of got away from it over the past couple days, but the stud of the day and then your waiver wire pickup of the day. So Tino, if you have this, wanted to give some love to Jaylen Brown. We had his over 2.5 threes yesterday. Mark Harrison, shout out to you, sir, who also had his over 2.5 threes. So a big day from Jaylen Brown, 34 points, 6 boards, 3 assists, and 5 threes. So for Jaylen Brown, he's only returned to the lineup. Now he's played basically 5 games here since he's returned to the lineup. His last 4 have been unbelievable. 23 points, 30 points, and 34 points. And he has 13 threes over his last 3 games and 17 threes over his last 4. He has cleared 2.5 threes in 5 straight games. So we gave that one yesterday, and it was basically even money. He's someone to keep an eye on. Books will probably adjust with him. But Jaylen Brown is a guy that we really like. And then Chuma Akiki is a guy that I really like. Yesterday we had plus 150 for over 2.5 steals and blocks. He had 6 steals yesterday. This guy's been a thief. Of course, Orlando's going through a few injuries, right? Cole Anthony didn't play yesterday, so the minutes have been there for Chuma. He's played 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes in 4 straight games, but this guy is just a thief. He's an absolute thief. 6 steals in his last game, 2 before that, 6 before that one. So he's got 14 steals in his last 3 games. He has 4 blocks over his last 4 games. He's been plus money to get 3 steals. He's been plus money to get 3 combined steals and blocks. He's been plus money to get 2 threes. He had 2 threes yesterday. He jacked up 11 shots from beyond the arc. He's had at least 7 shots from beyond the arc, attempts that is, in 3 of his past 4 games, 2 threes, 3, 4, and 2, just filling up the box score. So his ownership in Yahoo leagues, ESPN leagues, having around the 50% mark. So he's available. Now, his usage probably comes back when Orlando's at full health, but, you know, steals are pretty significant, and they're pretty significant in the DFS world as well. You get extra points for that kind of stuff. I rolled out this guy in DFS, and, you know, he didn't shoot the ball very well, right? I just mentioned how he was 2 for 11 from beyond the arc. He was 5 for 14 overall, but he is jacking up a lot of shots, double-digit shot attempts in 4 straight and at least 9 in 5 straight. So he could help you out. Might be a short-term ad for the weekend, but he's going to play again here this evening, so we'll talk a little bit more about Chuma in a little bit. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to bring in the GOAT, G-Dog, G-Dub, Jill Gallant, Double G. We're going to bring him in. He's from FTN Bets. He's got two shows over at Bets TV as well. We're going to preview this 49ers and Titans game. We're going to call some touchdowns. We're going to get some props. A whole lot of football talk coming. Guys, keep the comments coming. Alex Galvin, love to have you. Chirpin' George, right off the hop. Welcome in. We'll be back here on Mean Streets. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome in. What's going on, everybody? We got G-Dog 5000 in the house, rocking the star. Chris Meany here with you, Mean Streets live on Game Plus Network. G-Dog, what's going on, my friend? You were in the YouTube chat. There's lots of action going on there, man. We are
I didn't know that this was. I didn't know that this was a hat show. I would have wore a hat too, so I'm putting my hat on as well. If we're gonna do that,
yeah.
Here we go. There we go.
Dude, we can do what we want on this show. For now, we can do what we want. I mean, I'm not even wearing an ugly sweater, right? It's a little bit of an,
well, depending on how you feel about the Cowboys, I guess.
Your sweater's a little bit uglier than mine. There's no question about that. How are you? Any drama this morning? Shoveling snow?
No drama today. I'm in the best holiday mood. I'm kind of like in holiday mode right now, so I'm not in like mail it in, or I'm not going to just stop doing work, but I'm definitely in pouring a very large glass of an alcoholic beverage as soon as this show is over.
I may or may not have Bailey's in my coffee mug. I'm kidding. I don't. Here we go.
I don't even know if I count that as. I don't even count that as drinking anymore. I thought I used to, and then I was like, you know what? No, it's just part of coffee now.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Although I did have some last week, and I was like, you know what? I'm probably not going to do that anymore in the morning. I was just feeling a little off. Okay, so kind of breaking news before we came on. I don't know. You may have seen it before you jumped on, but I'm just seeing it now. And Tino told me the Saints may not have a quarterback here this week. That's what I just, the Saints with what do we got here? Trevor Siemian and Taysom Hill on the COVID list. And this is tough even with the new protocols. It doesn't look like these guys are going to be able to play this weekend against Miami. That is such a huge football game for both squads, more so for the Saints.
Well, and I mean, depending on how you feel about the overall game of football, it's not a very, even with Taysom Hill, a quarterback, probably wasn't going to be the most appealing game to watch. Now we're going to be watching the Notre Dame rookie Ian Book probably start. And I mean, I was joking in the chat. I'm probably going to bet his touchdown prop because it's probably going to be like 12-1 or something like that. I'll probably sprinkle on it. But I love taking rookie quarterbacks in this scenario because I love when they get into the red zone because they just panic and they tuck and run and their first read isn't there. And I mean, Book wasn't a terrible runner in college. I mean, it's obviously a pretty big step up to NFL defenses, but that was the first thing that I thought of. I was like, you know what? That immediately bumps up that I'm going to probably bet his touchdown prop on Monday.
And more breaking news, this rap sheet just tweeted this minutes ago as well. Dalvin Cook on the COVID list too. Man.
How can you bet a game before the actual game day? Like, you know what I mean? At this rate, like I need to know who's playing. Like, I can't cap the spreads. I can't cap the props. If Dalvin goes out, that's a trickle down effect across the board for all props. Like, you know what I mean? Whether it be passing yard props for Kirk, whether it be yardage props for Jefferson, Madison. Somebody's probably going to try to tell me to bet a CJ Ham touchdown as a result of it. Like, you know what I mean? There's trickle down all across the board when one player like that who can move the needle gets ruled out with COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been tough. Obviously, a bit of a crapshoot in your semifinal matchups in fantasy football. We've been talking about on the show, just kind of have as many running backs and handcuffs as you can because these things just pop up all of a sudden. Madison's one of those guys that people have owned, and if they have Madison, they probably have like 3 or 4 big time wins this season just on his performances alone. He's capable of getting in there and giving you an RB1 performance. But I mean, we may not have Kelsey and Hill on this slate this weekend. It's a crazy week. A reminder, we have 2 Saturday games, Cleveland and Green Bay, and the Colts and Arizona. But let's talk about tonight here. So the spread has dropped down just a little bit. We have San Fran 3-point favorites against the Titans, a total at 44.5. Use the prop shop, the free parlay calculator for the best possible odds. If it's moved a little bit, San Fran minus 159, and then Tennessee plus 140 over at the DraftKings. We don't know yet for certain if A.J. Brown is going to play. It sounds like he's maybe trending in the right direction. He can be activated off the IR here today. The Titans have played about 7.5 quarters without their big 3. Yes, I am calling Julio Jones part of their big 3, even though he's given them nothing this season. They're averaging 6.5 points per game without those 3. They've lost 3 of their past 4, and they've allowed less than 200 yards in 2 of their past 3. They're just not getting anything on offense here, Jill. They're running the football. They're running it okay. They're stopping the run better than anyone. I mean, they've allowed the second fewest yards per attempt on the ground on the season. The defense has played pretty good, and they're at home here. Before we get into some touchdowns, do you have a lean on either side? What you're thinking here?
Well, I think in this instance, if you're getting a division leader, even if they're a little shortchanged from talent, I mean, I'm not going to pretend like the Niners are this juggernaut of a team. Yes, they can run the ball fairly well, and yes, they have beaten up some teams in recent memory. But you're getting a live home dog in this stretch. I think it's either money line home dog or pass. I think that's really the only option. I don't know if you could take the Niners as a 3.5 or 4-point favorite in this spot just because it's past the key number. And I just don't trust that there won't be some shenanigans in this game. So for me, I'm just kind of, it's hard to even bank on long shot touchdown scores, especially with the recent trend that we've watched of just primetime games, just being like just some of the worst football you can watch offensively, it's difficult to actually try to justify like long shot guys like a Kyle Juszczyk at plus 700, even though he did score last week. That was only his second touchdown of the year. Again, that's like one of the few and far between guys that have scored last year. Like I was actually checking, I think somebody reported this earlier that this past week for week 15 was the fewest amount of touchdowns scored for primetime games in like 15 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest with the quality of football over the past week and a half, right? It hasn't been good. I mean, a lot of teams are missing key players. I mean, there's some teams rolling out rosters where a third of their squad is on the COVID list. So like that's certainly part of it. The under has hit more times than not on primetime, but the last 2 Thursday night football games, we've seen a lot of offense scored. I'm on the Niners, man. I get it. I understand Shanahan. I think he's slightly overrated. I really do believe that on the road. You said shenanigans. I get all of that, but
shenanigans.
Yeah. They're playing pretty good football right now, man. They're playing pretty good football on both sides of it. I have I don't have a ton of confidence in Jimmy G when the game's on the line. I think that's going to be the reason the Niners don't make serious noise in the playoffs. But I do think that they're a playoff squad, and I think the Titans are trending in the wrong direction, even having this football game. So I have no problem taking them by 3 here tonight. But touchdowns, what's your favorite one here this evening?
I mean, and I said this, I shot a video for FTN Bets earlier today, and the picks are pretty chalky in comparison to what I normally do. It's just mainly because the last week just kind of took a lot of L's just trying to chase after some big plus money plays. So I was just
John
you know
Bates.
what? I want to, yeah, well, dude,
Almost,
now,
dude.
I don't want to cry on air, man. I don't really want to have to get emotional. You know what I mean about touchdown score picks, because they're, when you're betting on a plus 1100 guy, of course it's going to be, end in heartbreak kind of thing when he gets tackled at the 1 yard line. But I ended up going with the Niners. I took two chalky plays with the Niners because I was getting the best odds possible. Because if I was looking at other books, they were around the minus 110, minus 105 mark. And that was Deebo Samuel at plus 120 and George Kittle at plus 145. And I know that we could technically talk about, the fact that Deebo is kind of more considered the running back for this offense, especially because he has 6 rushing touchdowns in his last 5 games. But he, even though he classifies as a run back lately, he's still a wide receiver. And the Titans have just been getting butchered by wide receivers this year. The most receptions to wide receivers and 16 passing touchdowns. So for me in this spot, I feel like he's so versatile that you have to almost bank. Like if you're getting him, you're getting the number 1 receiver and the number 1 running back at plus odds. Generally, when you're playing in touchdown score markets, especially a number 1 running back, you're not getting it at plus money. You're not getting a number 1 receiver usually at better than plus 110. So when the fact that you can combine both of those, I think Deebo could have 2 touchdowns today, but I was just trying to go with more of a little safer angle for this, especially from people who have been tailing me lately, just maybe looking for a little bit more of an easy win. But for Kittle's just a matchup nightmare. I feel like it doesn't matter. You could tell me you throw the stats out the window when you start telling me about, the Titans have they've done pretty well against tight ends. It's yeah, but this isn't
right.
The I don't know, Jack Doyle or Mo Alley Cox, or I'm trying to think of or Dan Arnold. I'm just thinking of with John Bates, but I'm just thinking of divisional games of tight ends that they would have faced this year. This is the real deal of a tight end, and I mean over the last 7 games. Leads all tight ends in touchdown catches, and he's second in reception. So it's basically him and Mark Andrews are right there. And the fact that Mark Andrews is even hovering around plus 200 in some games is ridiculous from an odds perspective. And the one thing I love is just the yards after catch. Of course, betting on Kittle, you almost just kind of feel great about betting on him because of the yards after catch, because he's played 3 less games, but he's still 10th in that stat. Deebo is 3rd, for example, has played and missed 1 game as well, 3rd in that stat. But if you just kind of prorate it and actually look at it at the yards after catch per game, they're both in the top 5. So I feel like they can break tackles and then score if that is the case. Kind of trying to decide between Kittle and Ayuk. Ayuk is right now plus 220, maybe even up to plus 300 at some books. I wouldn't hate it if somebody wanted to take Brendan Ayuk, but at the same time, I think George Kittle. I just feel like if you have to decide, I probably prefer Deebo over Kittle, but Kittle, you cannot deny it. Both of those I bet at BetMGM this morning.
Yeah, I love both calls. I mean, today was the first time where I typed in Deebo Samuel into our prop shop, and his rushing yards came up before his receiving yards. Mm-hmm. It hasn't been like that all year. Now,
and no Eli Mitchell tonight too.
Yeah, that's right. No Eli Mitchell. He has for Deebo. I mean, some of his rushing yard numbers. There's a couple props. I'll get into him a little bit later on. I think his receiving yard prop is too low. I think books are just taking a look at what he's done on the ground lately. 49.4 rushing yards per game over his last 5. A couple quiet games through the air before last week's 60 receiving yards. But you can throw on this Titans squad, as we talked about off the top. They're a tough team to run on, so we could see more passing attempts from Jimmy G. His total rushing and receiving is 82.5. I think he tops that. Yeah. And his receiving yard prop is 42.5. I think he tops that as well. As for Kittle, his last 3 games, 28 catches on 33 targets, 425 yards. You were spot on about some of the tight ends. I was going to bring it up in the next segment, but just since you brought it up, the only good tight end, I mean, maybe they played 2 good ones this year. They played Kelsey, 7 for 65. They played Dawson Knox. Other than that, they haven't played any.
Freiermuth got hurt last week too. So I almost have to throw that result out.
Yeah, they played Arizona week 1. They didn't have any tight ends. Seattle, right? Everett was new to the team. Nothing happened. You mentioned Mo Alley Cox, the Jets, the Jags. Indy, Jack Doyle, like no tight end there. Even Jack Doyle scored a touchdown. Higbee's been brutal all year. He had 51 yards on 5 grabs. Yeah, this is a different animal. There's elite and then there's a massive drop off.
Well, every tight end we just spoke about, they're not the focal points of their offense. Like, you know what I mean? They're more blocking tight ends, or, you know, they're kind of like offshoot, like safety valves, like, you know what I mean? Like, whereas Kittle, if they need a key third down, it's going to one of those two. And I would say actually more Kittle in that instance. And just the fact of how he can break tackles, like if he gets it's the Bates conundrum. He's not going to get tackled at the 1 yard line. He's going to muscle that over the line for us. So yeah, those would be the two for the Niners, man. And I did end up betting a Titan, and it's because he just has been cashing for me all year. And then, you know what? I missed out on him last week against the Steelers. I'm not going to let it happen again at these odds. It's Ryan Tannehill. I was able to get him at plus 375 at bet 365. And the 49ers actually, and this is another reason why I actually like the over 15.5 rushing yards prop for Tannehill as well, is they allow 5.6 yards per carry to opposing quarterbacks. That's 30th in the NFL. They've basically just been allowing opposing quarterbacks to run on them fairly well. And they've given up 4 touchdowns to quarterbacks this year as well. Both of those rank like bottom 3. 7 touchdowns this season, second amongst all quarterbacks behind your boy Jalen Hurts. 6 touchdowns just in the last 9 games. The fact that you can get him over plus 300 when it's a quarterback who has rushed for more touchdowns than some of these top backs that we could talk about right now is just insane. So for me, just that was the odds grab. It was like, you know what? I could try to maybe convince myself into Dante Foreman. Maybe AJ Brown plays. I don't know how effective he's going to be. Same thing with Julio. Like, are they fully, like both of those guys, Julio specifically, the reason why I don't want to bet him is because I don't want to say he's injury prone, but just, man, like all he has to do is
you can't say it. Are you kidding me? What do you mean you don't want to say it? Let's say it. Like, we're not being hard on this guy, Julio. He's not watching the show. Come on, man. Like, we can say what we want to say about Julio. I'm sick of people making
these days I'm going to meet Julio Jones, and he's going to be like, hey, man, I just looked up your name. And
he's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. No, we could say whatever we want about Julio. We could give him all kinds of love. He's a Hall of Famer. Unfortunately, things haven't worked out for Julio. I would like to see him take off another couple more weeks. And the Titans, obviously, they need him though. I think they're kind of limping in right now. I don't know if they're locked to get into the playoffs, but it is too bad. I was in on Julio. This is not being sour, but unfortunately for Julio, like this guy has not been on the field, man. He practiced in
over the last 2 years. Yeah.
I'm not buying it. Like, I'm just...
Well, and one lunging grab is all it takes. Like, because he'll make the catch. It's just he's going to get slow to get up. You're going to see him walk to the blue medical tent, and then there's your touchdown bet just up in flames. And it's not that I don't think A.J. Brown is talented. I think he's super talented. And if I knew that, like, if he had played last week and then was playing this week and was still plus 160, plus 150, kind of the range of what his odds are, he probably wouldn't be one of my picks this week. I just don't like betting guys coming off the COVID list, especially – because I looked like the biggest a-hole in the world last Sunday when I took Myles Gaskin for 2 touchdowns coming off the COVID list.
Well, how could you know that?
Carries. Yeah. Well, but still, I feel like a lot of people couldn't wait to tell me. They couldn't wait to tell me about how Duke Johnson used to play at Miami. They couldn't wait to tell me about how Duke Johnson was getting, according to beat writers from Miami, that he was going to get a lot of work this Sunday, so I should take a look at it. I'm not saying that – I'm not mad at people who won the bet. I'm just more mad about the after the fact of like, you should have seen that coming. And it's like, okay, all right.
Yeah, well, Eric Rodman's in here. He did have, I think he had Drake for 2 touchdowns, so good on him. But he makes some, I'm not saying they're ludicrous bets, but honestly, like if I had $25 to spend on a Sunday, that's not where I'm going. I love the long shots. I am here for it. We love it here on this show, especially the 2 touchdowns. And we've seen some winners. Heck, we've had some in the FTN Bet Tracker. You've had some. Our viewers and listeners have had some too. I am all about that. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be too hard on yourself on that one. But it is something to keep an eye on with these players coming off COVID lists. Like how fully are they going to be? Yeah, are they going to be having like a 90% snap share of what they like had? I think you throw that stuff out the window. We just don't know how they're feeling, and part of it too is reporting. We're not getting a lot of the reporting as well. It's been a bit of a challenging year, but you know, I love the Tannehill call. You mentioned 7 rushing touchdowns. He had 7 rushing touchdowns last year too. Yeah, he's really just kind of what they do. They just run the play action so well, and they're so efficient inside the red zone, and that really hasn't dropped off since losing Derrick Henry. They've still been pretty efficient inside the red zone, despite not scoring, a lot of points lately. Was there another long shot tight end, like, could you get involved with Swaim here today?
Definitely. I mean, I'm probably the biggest Swayminator fan on Twitter right now. I was all in on Swaim last week, and I got burned hard. And but that doesn't mean that I'm not willing to go back to it. I just won't make him an official pick. Probably what I'll end up doing is like one long shot bet that I was probably going to do a same game parlay. I was going to take Juszczyk and Swaim and put them on the same ticket and just parlay them. One's plus 750, another one's plus 600, and just put a $5-10 on it and just hope that I get a nice little early Christmas present.
Nice. I like it. Yeah. Juszczyk's plus 550 and as is Swaim plus 550, a little same game parlay. Yeah. There you go.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right, dude. We appreciate you. Are you going to be doing some shows this weekend?
Oh, yes? Yeah. Touchdown Town is on as scheduled on Sunday the 26th. So we'll see you there at Bets TV at 11 a.m. Eastern. Brenda Deeg and I, we're still going to give our best touchdown bets for Sunday. And as well, another prop I was just going to let people know that maybe they might want to take advantage of. Tannehill interception is happening. I just not going to put a ton of money on it because it's minus 125, minus 130. 9 picks since Derrick Henry got hurt. The 49ers are one of the best teams at all it takes is a tip pass. It's going to happen. I just not and if you actually look at his home away splits, he actually throws more interceptions at home. Whereas the opposite, people were asking me, do you want to bet Jimmy Garoppolo to throw an INT? He's only thrown 1 interception in road games this year. I can't take it at this rate because the Titans, as strong as they are, defensively, I just can't buy it at the plus 130. So that would be the one that I would just kind of say is take a look at the Tannehill prop. I do want to have one NBA prop before we go. I want people to bet Pat Connaughton over 2.5 threes at plus 110. That is tonight. 72% of all his shots come from 3-point range. 7 to 12 games this month, he's hit 3 or more. Mavs are bottom 10 at opponent 3-point attempts and makes in December. Pat Connaughton, call my shot. He is hitting 3 threes tonight.
I love it. Yeah, he's a favorite of ours as well, and I know of yours as well. That's what kind of I look at. I mean, I don't want to go game log chasing, but it's all about the attempts for me. If these guys are taking a lot of attempts from beyond the arc, I will take those 70%, guys. Man. Yeah, every time. Tannehill, man, 14 picks on the season, 3 away from a career high. He doesn't have a game yet this year where he's thrown more than 1 passing touchdown. He has thrown 14 touchdowns and 14 picks on the year. I love the interception call. He's played some sloppy ball. He's had some fumbles. He's had some turnovers, and it got him into trouble last week against the Steelers. Like, no way you should lose the game allowing 186 total yards on offense. I mean, they lost that game because Tannehill couldn't take care of the ball. Always a pleasure.
He threw 4 interceptions at home against the Texans. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's it. That is. G-Dog 5000, touchdown town, dog day afternoon. It's going to look so pretty as well with George doing the graphics. Jill's always a pleasure, dude. Good luck tonight. You're going to call some touchdowns. It's going to be a big night for you, man. It's going to be a big night. You're going to bounce back strong. We got Tino in here next. We're going to continue to talk about this game. We got some props as well, so keep her locked. Watch Mean Streets here on Game Plus and Network. Chris Meany bringing in producer Tino Rodriguez _ on the Twitter machine. Dude, you were just telling me something in between the commercial break that actually made my blood boil a little bit.
Yeah.
But somebody in your playoff, is somebody in your fantasy league that's out of the playoffs picked up Alexander Madison here within an hour ago?
Yeah.
Boot him out of the league. Give him a boot.
Yeah. I know, like 10 minutes ago. So, and it's a co-managed league. They just lost last week. Granted, okay, you're the Dalvin Cook owner. It's a redraft league. It's my home league. It's just a petty move. Don't do it. Don't be that guy. As a collective, what we decided to do, because he was supposed to not be on the waiver wire. So what we decided, I called all the commissioner, all the owners of the teams left, including myself. We all agreed we're going to drop Madison from his team on principle. None of us are going to pick him up. That's fine. We don't need Madison this week, but don't be that guy. Just don't be the guy. There's no need to do it. So it's a shame, but we took care of it. Meanie. It's just the pettiness of fantasy football sometimes, right? I mean, brings out the worst in us, I guess.
Are you wearing an NHL Network hat? Who is this guy? Wow.
No, change.
Nice.
I'm changing. Yeah.
Love it.
I'm an NHL guy now.
You're a big Sens fan.
Well, not so much the Sens. I was a Kraken guy to begin the year. I don't know. I don't know where I am. I'm back to free agency. All right.
You're free agency. We'll find you a team. I did want to give some love to some of the people who got some things right before we continue on with this game. So Tanaka, I think it's Tanakala, number 88. I know you're a big Bruins fan. You had the Celtics last night, 6.5. You were in the draw, sir. Rodaman, you had two bets. I think you went with Kevin Love, and he was questionable, and then you changed your bet to Milwaukee, 9.5. Good on you. All you do, I think, is win bets. You are in the draw, sir. Mark Harrison, man. Super sharp dude, Mark Harrison. Always hanging out on this show. Dangle Betselli, we appreciate you. You had two bets yesterday. You had Jalen Brown over 2.5 threes. Yes, sir. And you had Halliburton double-double.
For me,
you are
it was
in
the comment, too. I think he said, he's like, if you want to get a little crazy, he's like, go Halliburton plus 130 double-double.
Yeah,
and it's
crazy.
like, yeah, let's get crazy. I should have listened.
I think you're 4 for 4. I mean, you're technically 3 for 3, right? The Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, here we are on Thursday. We need your pick for today. But you have been given, not just one pick, 2 picks. We had another one, Eric lose. No lose for you, but you got a dub. Gary Harris over 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists. You were in the draw a couple times as well. And then GZ, let's go. The curse is over. Are we going to start tailing this guy? He had over 1.5 old fashioned. I didn't even have to ask you. I know you hit that one. And then Milwaukee money line. Here we go. Let's go.
I don't know why I thought a pick was coming after the 1.5. I was expecting a 3-point prop when you said the 1.5 old fashioned. I was like, wait, what? Sorry.
We went a little long with Jill, so we're going to be, as usual, rapid fire on our timing towards the end of this show. But this is what I'm thinking for props here tonight. We'll bring up this. I agree with a lot of what Jill said with Deebo Samuel and Ryan Tannehill. I mean, Deebo's just been a touchdown machine all year, and especially lately with what he's doing on the ground. I like the Niners here to win by 3. I just think they're the better team. I get it. Titans are at home. They've been good. Their defense has been good. I just don't know where their offense is coming from. Obviously, A.J. Brown, the boost of A.J. Brown, and if Julio can give them something would make this game competitive, but I just really like the feel of this Niners team lately. Deonta Foreman over 48.5 rushing yards. He's at 44.5 over at DraftKings. 57 yards on 13 carries in our projections. I think he tops 13 carries. He's had, 22 last week, and he left that game with an injury. He practiced in full all week. I'm not worried about the foot, the ankle. I think he's good to go. 54 carries and 264 yards in his last 3 games, averaging 88 rushing yards per game. This Titans team, they want to run the football. Even if AJ comes back, this is what they want to do. They've been playing at a slow pace. They've been running the rock even without Derrick Henry. Of course, when they have Henry, that's definitely what they want to do. I like George Kittle here to have 6 grabs, and I like him to have over 73 receiving yards. His receiving yard prop is in the mid-60s over at PrizePicks. Again, guys, there's a massive edge over there. 425 yards in his last 3 games, 95, 151, and 181. He has 28 catches on 38 targets over those 3 games. That is massive. The Titans have allowed the second fewest rushing yards per game, 86.9, and only 3.9 yards per attempt on the ground. That's the 3rd best mark in the league. I think we'll see Jimmy G throw a little bit more than what we've seen over the past couple weeks with Jimmy G. And then Deebo Samuel. I like Deebo. I like over his receiving yards. I like over his total. 42.5 is just way too low, man. Let's not forget that this guy has hit the century mark 4 times this season. I get it. He's rushing a lot lately. He did have 60 receiving yards in his last game. Ratcliffe has him for 31 yards on the ground and 59 through the air. 42.5 is just too low. He has a game with 189, one with 156, one with 171, and at least 93 yards in 6 games this season. So I'm taking the over 42.5, and I'm taking the over total rushing and receiving because he's averaging 49 yards per game on the ground. I think he probably gets 60 plus through the air. I think we could get the 82.5 just with his receiving yards. So I guess I'm in on Jimmy G and his weapons here today. Let you have the mic. Actually, you want to break? You want to break and come back?
Before we break, flowing? Yeah, that's fine. Just shout out to Mark Harrison. He said he thought I'd be dressed like a reindeer. Joke's on you, Mark. I have the reindeer pants on. Yes. Shout out to Rudolph.
Yes.
Shout out to Rudolph. Guiding us through this Christmas.
Shout out to Rudolph. I love it. Let's go, Eric. And I love the pants. Yeah. Mark, Tino never lets us down in this show. He never lets us down. He's got NBA picks too. We'll break. We'll keep the flow of the show. We'll break. We'll continue here with some props. We'll get your thoughts on the game tonight as well. Keep it locked. All right, welcome back in. Craig Smith, to see your question. EY, are we gonna do a hockey show for the World Juniors? I don't know, man, if we are. EY's away for a little bit. I know the World Juniors starts here, December 26th, so I'm not sure if we will. Unfortunately, I really would have liked to do that this morning. We just couldn't find a way to get together. That should be really entertaining. Craig, my apologies, man. I'll hit up EY, see if we want to do something on the side before, but probably not, to be honest. What's your thoughts, Tino, on this game here tonight? I feel like you're leaning on the Titans.
So I'm moving. I'm bobbing and weaving here. It's hard. It's hard for me to figure this game out because I think Joe's made a lot of sense. It's hard to look away from a division-leading home dog getting a field goal. I think that says a lot. I mean, just from a sharp gambling perspective, I just think that might be too many points. Kind of disrespectful, too. I do love Debo. I have him in a ton of fantasy leagues, so I'm kind of, multi-invested here, but I do love his rushing. I do love his receiving. I actually wanted to make a joke. I actually think he's going to attempt a pass tonight, but I can't find the prop anywhere. I feel it. I feel it coming.
We can't be shocked about that. He could do everything, man. Swiss Army knife. He's awesome.
I love Debo tonight. So the two things that you haven't mentioned that I'm on are Ryan Tannehill rushing props. His longest rush over 9.5 and his over rushing at 15.5 over at DraftKings, both minus 110. I'm looking for a one-play payday. The running game has been scarce other than Deontay Foreman for the Titans. And really, Tannehill's been the only guy I know we're on his rushing touchdown. Yes, 7 this season. That's totally fine. But he's gone over that 15.5 mark 8 times this season, each of the last 3 games. Yeah, I think he's going to get to that again. And then with the 9.5, he just needs to break the pocket and move the chains the one time for that to happen. We could get both on the same play. So those are the 2 others I'm on other than Kittle, Debo, and Tannehill as well. And I sprinkled on Swain. Sprinkle a little bit on Swain.
I think you have to, right? I think you have to. Would you get involved at all with Julio and AJ Brown? Is it just too risky for you? I think Julio, I don't want a piece of. If those odds should be like 4-1 or something for that guy to score a touchdown.
For Julio, for sure. That guy hasn't scored a touchdown since like his rookie season in Atlanta. And granted, I know Atlanta's still struggling to throw some touchdown passes still without Julio, but that's besides the point. If AJ Brown plays, I'd rather bet AJ Brown than Julio Jones. That's just where I'm at. And the good thing with AJ Brown's injury is that it's nothing lower body, right? So it's not like we got to worry about anything with ankles, knees, hamstrings, where Julio, he left the game after one play, right? Or one target last week, and it was a hamstring injury. So I don't want to deal with that again. So Tino, Chris, I'll tail my picks and let's trade it.
I don't know how to tail his picks because he said like 1,000 picks here. Eric. Eric, give us like your best bet. Obviously, we want you to leave it in the YouTube section. We're asking people really. We want some comments. We want this show to continue to grow. We want it to hang around. Football season's almost over. We want to give the bosses, reasons to keep this show around. Right? We're going to talk some NHL, some college sports, of course, some NBA. But Eric, I'd like to know your best bet on this show before this show is over. Not just like tail my 1,000 picks here, because you've given some pretty good ones. I saw one that was like I think 8. What did it have? Like 116 to 1 earlier? Maybe that one wasn't as much.
So I did put Debo 2 touchdowns and Tannehill 2 touchdowns. I put $5 on that to win like $200-300.
I like that one. That's
not bad.
We got to break. We got to break again. I want to give you at least 3 minutes for some NBA props. We'll break. I got some NFL picks and also some prize picks to consider as well. So don't go anywhere. Mean Streets continues here on Game Plus Network. All right, welcome back in. Tino, let's bring up the prize picks. These picks here first, because there's not a lot of props. I mean, we just don't know with COVID and stuff, but PrizePicks has some plays up, and this is what I'm thinking. There's a massive edge here, guys. I know Cortland Sutton, are you crazy? 20.5 receiving yards. It's all about Drew Lock. Drew Lock loves Cortland Sutton. Jeff Ratcliffe has Sutton for 40 receiving yards. I'm seeing him at 35.5 on most books. 20.5 is way too low. We know he has a high ADOT. He hasn't really done anything this season with Jerry Jeudy on the field. I mean, that's for certain. He hasn't. You can pass on the Raiders. It really is about Drew Lock, guys. Check out our splits over at FTNDaily.com. Lock has no problem force feeding the ball, even in double coverage. I think it only takes one catch to get this Cortland Sutton one. This Josh Jacobs receiving yard prop is way too low. Some of the games that he's had this season, look at his last few. 42 receiving yards, 46, 38, 25, 24. He's cleared in 5 straight games. He's cleared in 7 of his past 9 games. He has struggled running the football, but he is getting targets. He has at least 3 catches in 3 straight games and 17 over that span. Dawson Knox, no Cole Beasley. Doesn't look like Emmanuel Sanders is going to play here. So Dawson Knox over 33.5 receiving yards. And then Devin Singletary played over 90% of the snaps for the Bills. I just mentioned Buffalo missing some of their pass catchers. And for Singletary, 23 opportunities for him last week. His receiving yard prop on other books, FanDuel, DK, it's right around that 15 range. This is 9.5. I think he could get to this mark. And then Michael Pittman, forget about last week. This guy has cleared it consistently over the past 7 weeks. There's 2 games where he hasn't. One against the Pats, tough defense. One against the Bills, tough defense. You can throw on Arizona in a dome. I think Pittman gets over the 52.5 receiving yards. And let's switch over to some of the picks here before we break and talk NBA. Craig, yes, I am confident in the Birds against the G-Man. I don't know about the cover, but I am confident that they are going to win that football game. But 10 points is a lot, even against whoever the heck the Giants are throwing out there. San Fran tonight, 3. Green Bay over Cleveland, 7.5. Pittsburgh, I gave this out yesterday at 10. I'm still fine with the 8. We don't know about Kelsey. We don't know about Hill. Nick Bolton, one of the best linebackers in the league this year, a rookie linebacker at that. He's not going to play. There's a lot going on, COVID land for KC. Indy on the money line. You can get that at plus 100 over Arizona. LA, I like Cincinnati. They crushed them earlier in Baltimore with Lamar. I don't care if Lamar plays or not. This Ravens defense is not the same. The under here in Tampa and Carolina, Buffalo and New England. The over in that Baltimore and Cincinnati game, I think we will see some points. And this teaser I like. Green Bay by a field goal. Buffalo not to lose by 7, Philly by 6, Las Vegas not to lose by 4, and Dallas over Washington by 6. Man, Tino, of course, we're going to have like 2.5 minutes here for NBA picks and props. Try to just jam pack everything into this show because we won't be back tomorrow. So the mic will be yours in the next segment. One more break, and we'll be back here on Mean Streets. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back in one final time. This is one of those days where I wish the show was a little bit longer. I feel like we got a little bit more info and information that we wanted to get out there. But Tino, I'll let you go. You got any NBA action? It's been tough. We've been talking about how it's tough to bet this early on sides and props. But take us away.
Yeah, so I put a warning out the last couple of weeks. Don't bet any lines early for good reason. Hand up when we go 3-0, I take credit. When we go 0-3, which is equally as impressive, I take credit. 0-3 last night, and none of the games were particularly close, including a team I'm betting against tonight because I watched the entire game and needed them to close out a parlay. Just money line. The Denver Nuggets lost outright to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Joker died a game.
Ow. I'm still hurting. So as a result, they'll probably win today because of this. I am taking the Hornets as the road dogs. I watched that entire game. My eyes hurt from watching how bad the Nuggets played. And yeah, Joker is probably going to play better this time around, and that'll be a difference maker. But the Hornets are finally healthy from COVID. I want to get a dog on here, so I'll take them. The other two I'm going to take are favorites. I'm taking the Warriors under 6 here as home favorites. They are relatively good against the spread. Now, I know the Grizzlies are as well, and the Grizzlies beat them in Golden State earlier this season. I don't know. I think the Warriors are just the Warriors. They're 15-2 at home. I'll take them to cover. It's not at 6. If it was at 6, I would have had PTSD from yesterday when I took all those teams to cover 6 and they didn't do it. So we're at 5.5. So I like that a lot better. And I'm going to go with the Bucks. The Bucks showed me something yesterday. Middleton looks healthy. Bledsoe is in good form. They're under 4 right now, which is really good against a Mavs team that is just disheveled. Kristaps has been playing a lot better, but under 4 points against a Mavs team that just doesn't really have anyone, I feel relatively good about that. So those would be my 3.
Rodman, I did see the under on Joker. Man, you are just, you're hot fire, dude. I don't know how you do it. I wouldn't be picking any unders on Joker. Craig, I am super jealous. You throw back a couple beers at the link, sir, and watch that Eagles offense pile up some points. We got like 30 seconds. Throw up the 3-point graphic just because George does so much phenomenal work for us. I'd hate to waste the time that he has. If you have it, you don't have it.
It's great. I don't have it.
I can see your face. I could see your face. You're like, oh, no, I don't have it. The 3-point prop.
Hold on. There we go.
There we go. No analysis needed. We hit 3 of 5 yesterday. We're going to continue to ride with this. Booker's plus money. He's got like 10 threes in his 2 games since returning. Bradley Beal just needs 2 here. We just gave some love to Chuma off the top of the show. Duncan Robinson, at least 10 attempts in 3 of his last 4 from beyond the arc. And then Bane, 5 of 7. He's cleared in 5 of 7 and 9 of his last 12. Guys, leave your best bet on our YouTube page. Happy Festivus. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Have a fantastic weekend. We will be back on Tuesday. Have a good one, guys. Cheers.